This is Shopify Masters, the e-commerce marketing podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs. It's powered by Shopify, the easiest way to sell online, in person, and anywhere in between. To get an extended 30-day trial, visit shopify.com/masters. Hey entrepreneurs, my name is Felix and I'm the host of the Shopify Masters podcast. Each week we put out podcast interviews with successful e-commerce entrepreneurs or experts to give you inspiration, motivation, and actionable tips to increase your traffic and sales so your store can generate the sales you need to live the life you want. In the last episode, Quan Nguyen from 100%pure.com tells the Black Friday and Cyber Monday lessons he's learned while supporting a $40 million business. On today's episode, you'll learn entrepreneurs' list of criteria to create a giftable product that sells during the holiday shopping season. In this episode, you'll learn how to promote your product through college and university newsletters, how to personalize just enough when pitching to publications, and the process for selling your product as a promotional product. Today, I'm joined by Jeff Phillips from Beardo.com. That's Beardo.com. Beardo is the creator of the original beard hats and was started in 2010 and based out of Toronto, Canada. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, so Jeff, tell us a little more about the story and the creation of the original beard hat.
Yeah, well, it was actually the original beard hat kind of came pretty organically. I was snowboarding in Whistler, and up at actually Whistler Blackcomb up at Seventh Heaven, which is like the highest run. Absolutely freezing cold, and all I had was this scarf, this old knit scarf in my bag. I actually used it to wrap my camera with. It was so cold, so I put it over my face and wanted to drink. Obviously, as we're going down, I had some water. I spread a hole in the mouth, to make a little mouth, and that it was a brown scarf, looked just like a beard, and that's kind of how it got started. My friends were all laughing at me, and I held on to that, and I used it a few more times because it was hilarious, and I kind of refined it a bit. But a few years down the track, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna. People find this funny. I'm gonna put it out there, see if it can sell, and yeah, that's pretty much where it all started. Just a snowboarding trip, and yeah, it's funny how things come together like that.
Did you have any experience previously starting businesses or creating products? Because how did you know that this was something that might make sense to release as a product? And how did you know what steps, I guess, to take to make it a reality in that way?
Yeah, well, I had a few other businesses. Nothing like that, and nothing online. But I was doing, I had my own wildlife control business. I had a painting business, and I had previously done a film and television degree. So I had some experience with working with graphic design and stuff like that. And really, I try to describe it to people. It's just a gut feeling, just because I liked it so much and my friends liked it so much. And that was really justification that, if I like it, I think other people are going to like it too. And I looked at getting them manufactured, right away, and had the first 1,000 actually shipped out to us.
Cool. So you knew that you liked it. Your friends around you were interested in the product as well. They thought it was funny. It seemed like something that would catch people's attention. And you just went right ahead and manufactured. You said 1,000 right off the bat, or did you try to find other ways or did you feel like you had to find other ways to validate that there was a demand for a product like this first?
Well, when I first launched the store, we were coming up to winter, and I just thought, it's now or never. So it's a pretty seasonal product. Obviously, you're not going to wear that in the summer. So I thought, with Christmas coming, I'm gonna get 1,000 made, and hopefully. And my original plan was, if I sell all these by, from say October till March, if I sell out, I'd be very happy, extremely happy. And I always had a fallback as well. And that's the thing was, I thought people might not want this hat with a beard in it, but they're detachable. So worst case scenario, I can rip the beards out of the hats, and they're really nice hats alone. They're hand knit hats, and I can sell those beanies, 1,000 beanies to maybe a store would pick them up, and they definitely pay cost. So I would at least get my money back. That was kind of the fallback. So to me, it was a bit risk-free to do that.
Yeah, I like that you had a fallback so that it was, like you're saying, risk-free. Did you design that into the product itself, or was this just something that I guess was a bonus that came with the design of the product?
Well, we designed I designed the beard hat to have the detachable beard, and actually that's our patented design is the detachable beard part, because I just figured, some people wouldn't want to wear it all the time, it looks good, it looks funny, but you don't want to walk around, you don't want to walk in a bank with the fake beard
Yeah.
on. There's places where you don't want to wear them. So I just thought, we'll give them the option, and that just kind of made me think, people can rip them out, just wear them as a beanie, and put the beard in for special occasions or to get a good laugh. And I thought it was just it was a novelty. People would buy it maybe as a joke, or they'd buy it for a friend, or they'd use it, on the ski hills like I did. But that they could always just take the beard out, and once they get bored of that novelty.
Okay, so you had this fallback in place. It sounds like you had a criteria that you want to hit. You want to sell all of them out by between October and March, so about 6 months. At what point did you realize that it was something serious, that you could actually turn it into a business and no longer just a pet project that you're working on?
Yeah, well, you never know for sure, but I think my initial investment was probably, with the hats and everything and the website and everything, my total investment was probably about $8,000. I called on some friends to make a website for me. I think the first website was $500. But you never really know. And when we launched, I think we launched November 1st, and immediately had a sale. But the first sale we saw was in South Korea. And that was really surprising to me, that we didn't sell in Canada, because, it was a .ca website back then. And after 25 days, we actually sold our entire stock. 1,000 hats were gone. And that's really when, I knew that this could go pretty big.
Wow, yeah, 1,000 in 25 days, less than a month is definitely a great sign that there's a demand for this product. But how did you, I guess, drive that much attention towards this product so quickly? 1,000 visitors alone in the first month would be a big win for a lot of new stores, but you were able to actually close and get 1,000 sales. So what was your early marketing plans to but sell those 1,000 products in just 25 days?
Yeah, I was really doing it on the cheap too. I was living in Australia back then as well, and I was living out of my buddy's garage. I was paying $50 a week to live out of the garage, and I was doing everything on the cheap. So I was contacting blogs by email. I wasn't really marketing. I was just contacting blogs. I was contacting anything I could think of to get it out there and get. I was posting on different sites, talking about the product, contacting every media company I could think of. And, it was really, that's really what drove the traffic, is these people like this story. They liked the story behind it. They liked the novelty factor of it. And media was really quick to pick it up. Even university newspapers. I contacted pretty much every university and college newspaper in North America and talked to their editors and tried to get that included in their the university newsletters, and just by doing it on the cheap like that, I learned so much, and I was able to grow it very quickly and very cheaply. So I think that's back. I'm starting to do that now. Actually, we're starting to get back to basics and do that again because it works so well.
Mm-hmm. So you weren't just looking for big publications, big websites. You were I think you were saying that you were going after newsletters. You're looking for people, especially I guess in universities in this case, to contact them. Was the approach different when you were looking for people that looking for press mentions through newsletters versus press mentions just like on a blog, on a website?
It was pretty easy. People were pretty quick to pick up in both areas. It's harder to get the more mainstream media. That's what I was finding. Like the bigger, like the huge blogs, like the Huffington Post and things like that. It was very hard to get involved in those. I found that once you get into some smaller ones, it's almost like the bigger ones kind of look at the smaller ones, and pick up stories from the smaller ones. That seems to be a trend, and especially today, it's very hard for us to get any mentions in any large media companies or blogs. It's hard.
Why do you think press outlets picked up on the story so quickly? Because you mentioned that they were interested in the story. So was it the product itself, or was it your story? Like, what story were they most likely to cover?
I think it wasn't just the story was kind of secondary, the way that it was created, but the images that we had back then were pretty funny. We're still using some of them, but those are what draw the attention, the visualization of the product, and that's really what spread through mainstream media back then as well.
And when you say visualization of the product, you mean that it was just like a funny photo of the product with the product in it? Like, what was it that caught the attention?
Yeah, like we were trying to do all kinds of different photo shoots. We were doing ones with the Hangover characters. We were doing anything we could think of. We dress up like a fisherman and go down by the sea and take a photo with the beard hat on. And but there was basically one of the main images is of me. I don't know what it is. It's a front focused photo, and just looking at the camera. And people have always said that image just sells so well. They don't know what it is, but I don't really know what it is either. It's not funny. It's just a straight on shot. Just the shape of the beard, I guess, looks good.
So you were sending these photos in the initial, I guess, pitch email when you were reaching out to these outlets? Yeah,
so I basically did a draft. I try to keep it as small as possible, as short as possible, not to not waste anybody's time. So just basically told them what we were about, and then sent a photo. And if they're interested, contact us back for more information. And we'd fail 9 times out of 10, but I did so much of that we, got a lot of press out of it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely a numbers game. But I like that this approach of focusing on the photo itself, because sometimes there's so much attention on how to write the message, how to craft the subject line. But if you have a really interesting, funny, eye-catching photo, especially obviously, of course, with the product in it, it could itself just sell the pitch right off the bat, because it looks so interesting that people just want to cover it. It's a very, I guess, a visceral response when you see the product in I guess your case, a very funny setting. So I think that's definitely an angle that a lot of folks should take, because I think that a lot of times it's very text driven, very text heavy, but a photo obviously can get the point across much faster. So you said that it was very much like a numbers game. You failed 9 out of 10 times, but you're doing so many times that you're bound to get a hit every once in a while. What was your approach, and what was the process for finding these outlets to reach out to, and then how to manage the work, I guess that was involved in reaching out and making sure to follow up, making sure to actually close the entire loop of pitching and then actually getting covered?
Yeah, so it was hard to find the contacts. Actually, that was the first step. It's harder now, which I noticed as well. But the first place that we looked was Wikipedia, and Wikipedia was a great resource just to find. First of all, every college and university in North America, and then we cross-referenced that with ski and snowboard, like ski hills. So any college or university that was near a ski hill, we wanted to talk to them, and so we found out what the newspaper was, and this is all very time-consuming work. But by doing this early on, I made a pretty great database of editors and of these smaller newspapers. Even the mainstream newspapers, we contact them and, try to contact them leading into winter, because they're all looking for stories. And the way I figured it was, if you can write something interesting for them and put it in front of them at the same time that they're looking for that type of story, and you give them not all the information, but you give them a very small snapshot of your story, and you kind of word it how they would want to put it into the paper or onto the blog, you make their job really easy. They want to, they want to cover you that way. If you send them information that is hard to read, is not clear, they might pass over it. But if you make them want the story, you put it in front of them at the right time, you'll get out there. And that's kind of what we tried to do.
Yeah, I hear this all the time about how you want to essentially write the story for the blog, do a lot of the work for them. But how personalized were you actually getting with each headline, each story when you reached out to these universities? You know, let's say that you reached out to 10 universities. Are you actually creating a different story, different headline for each of the 10 universities, or is it a general kind of story, general headline? Just for universities in general, and then have a separate kind of headline, separate story for more of like a entertainment-focused blog?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, yeah, for universities and colleges, for example, for the newsletters, we would basically make the same one. We wouldn't really change it too much because I wasn't sending the whole story. You know, I was just sending a photo and a little bit about us and giving them basically a little teaser. You know, I was saying, you know, winter's coming. You know, people are going to want to see this. You know, I think your readers are going to be very interested in this. You know, it's the world's only beard hat with a detachable beard. You know, take a look, and then we'd send the photo, and you know that kind of thing would get a really good response. So yeah, we didn't write the entire story and then send it to them. I actually think a lot of editors especially don't like that. I don't think they want to read an entire story before they decide. You know, they're time crunched. You know, they don't want to do that. So you send them a little teaser. If they're interested, they'll contact you, and then you can send them everything. You know, in a short manner.
Okay, makes sense. And was the approach to pitching a university to get into their newsletter, get into their newspaper, different than you would when you're approaching a more, I guess, consumer focused or entertainment focused blog, like I guess a Huffington Post? Is the approach different?
The approach is pretty much the same. I think of you know, people writing the university papers are not as professional. You know, they're university students and they're a little bit more laid back and you know, just chilled out about the whole thing. So you can kind of approach them not as professionally, and you know, the email doesn't have to be as professional. Where I find the bigger agencies are, you know, like the Huffington Post, for example, they don't want the hellos, how are you? They just want the, you know, very headline story. That's it, and maybe you'll hear back from them. They just get so much on their desk. I understand completely. They get so much across their desk that, you know, or in their emails, that you have to be short, but you have to hook them. You know, you have to be different, and that's, I think, what's getting harder is everybody's learning this and they're doing it. So it's harder to get your story to the right people now, and people are hiding their emails a lot more now. I noticed too. It's hard to contact a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that the more professional, the bigger blogs, bigger publications are on more of a time crunch, that they don't want all the kind of niceties that you would typically include when you're reaching out to a smaller outlet, like a university, for example. So these universities that you're going after, I'm so intrigued by this. I haven't heard of an approach like this before, but it makes a lot of sense. You're finding universities, your product was, you know, geared for people in that demographic, and they were going out. And was your story printed in like a print newspaper or like a digital newsletter that was going out to the entire student base? Like, what was the where was it included?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, back then it was normally just printed out. You know, the weekly newspaper that you pick up, the free one, and you know, we did a few giveaways too. That was an incentive for some of them. You know, they some of them didn't want to do the story, but we'd say, look, if you do the story, we'll you know, we'll give you guys a giveaway, so you can give away 3 hats, and we'll send them out to to whoever you want. You know, you have a little draw, and they like that. You know, so they like getting involved. So we did give away a bit of product as well, and we found that worked really well early on as well. So.
And did you find that these newsletters, these newspapers, did they convert better than a larger publication?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say because we did so many of them, but you know, you'd get into one large publication, but you'd be in, you know, 40 university newspapers. So, you know, back then we weren't so much looking at conversion rates. You know, it was a big learning curve. So obviously we were just trying to get the word out there, and the traffic to the website was insane. So so we just knew we were doing the right thing, and sales kept growing. So you just kept doing it. And, we didn't really take time to look and figure out where the conversions were coming from.
Yeah, I'd assume that would be pretty hard too, especially if it's like print newsletters. Maybe you can look at the geographies of the purchases, but I can imagine it'd be still pretty difficult to determine. But if it's an effort, a campaign that's working so effectively, then sometimes you don't need to measure down to the exact university. Sometimes you can't anyway, but that should not stop you from doing it. So what was this timeline then? When I introduced you, I said the business was started in 2010. Was the product designed that same year? Like, what was the lead up to the initial 1,000 production run?
Yeah, so basically the product was actually designed in 2006. So that's when it was really invented, but didn't really take it seriously until a few years later. And that's when I really decided to take a run at it. I'd come to Australia to be a teacher, and I was teaching here, and I had some spare time as well. And I thought, I'm going to take a run at this and put this out. So basically, the beginning of that year, we started having them manufactured, and just kind of leading up to November when we launched.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, what made you, I guess, revisit it? Because I think that there are a lot of ideas, a lot of products that are on the back burner for a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's always something in the back of their mind that they might want to come back to at some point, or maybe new ideas come into their head that take their attention. What made you decide to come back to this product specifically?
Yeah, well, it was just a stupid idea. It was a stupid little thing between friends, and I didn't really think much about monetizing it. And back then, e-commerce was just really starting to take off, and didn't really know a lot about it. But with the launch of Shopify, especially, and just Facebook and Facebook ads and everything, it just came in and started making it easier to reach these people online. I think it just happened at the right time that. I don't think we could have really done it any better if we started earlier. I think it kind of popped at the right time.
So you said in 2010 you made that order for the first 1,000, sold out in 25 days through this huge PR outreach that you're doing, and you kept on using the word we. Was it more than one person? Or was it just you initially reaching out to all of these universities and publications?
Yeah, well, it was actually. Yeah, like I said, I was living in my buddy's garage, and so it was me doing a lot of the hard work. I had some friends in the house that were helping as well, just for fun. We were doing it for fun. So, but it was my project. And then we had a lot of friends involved. Obviously everybody comes together, and they just thought it was funny and fun. So we're doing the photo shoots together, and actually funny. I was thinking about it. When you contacted me about this, and I was thinking about, just reflecting, and I haven't really taken the time to reflect too much about the business growth, and I keep mentioning I was living in the garage, and didn't have much money, but I was living in the garage of my buddy, and I remember I used to drive around at night trying to put my patents through, and we didn't have Wi-Fi, so I'd actually be in my station wagon driving around with my laptop on the passenger seat open, trying to pick up somebody's unlocked Wi-Fi signal so that I could sit out front of their house and, do some ads or put my patent through, which took a lot of time, and it's just funny thinking, how far we've come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's definitely another level hustle. If you don't have internet, it definitely is a big deterrent to starting an online business. So definitely glad that you're able to find a way around it. So early on, I'm looking at the catalog, the site now, and the products range different in price, but it looks like most of the hats are in the $30 to $40 range. Was that always the original price point?
Yeah, the original price point for the original hat was just as it is today. It's $39.99. For the original, the hand knit, it's all hand knit. But now we've got a few different models. We have a machine knit beanie, and then the handmade beard, and those are $29.99. And then, as you see, we've expanded to a lot of different products. We've got a lot of ski masks now. We've actually got ski goggles, and we're doing a lot of promotional products as well. Promotional branding for different companies with those bottle mustaches. I don't know if you can see those. small accessory, and we do beard ornaments. So we're starting to really grow out a little bit, but still staying in the ski and snowboard markets, but also expanding a little bit more into the more giftable items as well.
Yeah, definitely want to talk more about the giftables, especially since we're coming into, I guess when this comes out, we'll be very much into the holiday shopping season. Before we get there, when it comes to, when you first sold that first 1,000 batch order, what was next? Like, how did you then realize, okay, I need to focus all my time on this, or was it still something that you were kind of, I guess, going along slowly with?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, pretty much the first 15 days I knew, I was spending all my time on it, and back then I had my phone hooked up. So every time I got a sale, it would make like a cash drawer, ching ching. And I just remember the one night when it was a little bit after that. It was around Christmas, but after that first 1,000 was sold, but it was just going off the hook. It was just, and it was first time I had to mute it because it was just. It was ridiculous. It was just going constantly, and it was just, being in a different time zone here, it was going all night, and for the North American daytime. So I had to mute my phone for the first time, and that's really when I basically retired from my teaching career to focus on that.
Very cool. So did you just use all the funds from the sales to continue buying more products? Like, what was the next area of focus to grow the business after that initial successful month?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it took, I'm not exactly sure what the second batch, the unit or the numbers for the second batch, how many we ordered, but I knew we had to mobilize pretty quickly and get those in. But yeah, just kept reinvesting, and that pretty much happened for the first winter. Just reinvested everything. But it was just the sales are going crazy, so it was really good.
Very cool. So I want to go back to what you're saying about how you guys are now getting more into the promotional branding side and creating more products around, creating more giftable products. So what made you, how did you realize to go in this direction? I guess we'll start with a more promotional branding side. How did you know to start going in this direction? Well,
especially with the beer the bottle mustaches, we realized that a lot of beer companies would obviously want them. So, I started sending samples around, and people loved them. We got on some of the promotional products websites in North America, and just distributors started picking them up, and we throw them out at trade shows too, and that really helped. But the response really is what showed it to us that people want these. So. Yeah,
I guess initially it sounds like such a great sales channel because I'm assuming selling to big companies, you can sell much larger batches rather than one by one to consumers. Maybe the profit margins are not as great. Is there a con to, a downside towards opening up a sales channel like this to focus on selling your product specifically as promotional products?
Yeah, the only real downside is the turnaround time. To do something like that, a lot of these companies, whether it be a promotional product for a beer case or, a sporting event, we've had that where they're looking for thousands of these things with their logo embroidered on the hat or on the bottle mustaches. The turnaround time seems to be never short enough. So. The distributors always seem to want them pretty immediately, and we just can't do that, especially now, during winter when we're mobilized for our online sales, and we've got our production house just running at capacity. To take on a large promotional order is hard. So we try to spread it out throughout the year and make blank products that are we can just embroider or just mark them. With screen print and send them out. So that helps. But then you're carrying stock, and it gets into a lot of other issues, warehousing and stuff like that. So that's the downside.
And so just to, recap, the downside is that when a sale does happen with these big companies that want to buy your product for promotional reasons, they want it immediately. They want it much faster than you're able to produce.
Yeah, usually they'll contact us with. We've had sometimes where people want, for example, 10, 15,000 beard hats in a special Pantone color with an embroidered logo, and they need it in 12 days.
Wow.
We just can't do that. Shipping time alone is 5 or 6 days. That's the fastest we can send it. So, that kind of sucks because you're seeing these huge potentials go out the door and just not come to fruition. So.
Yeah, I can imagine that sucking where it's like literally someone's willing to give you money, but you can't produce what they need quickly enough to get it. And you mentioned there's some ways to mitigate that by producing most of the product already, but then finding ways to, apply whatever the company is looking for as the very last step so that most of the production is ready for you already. But the downside, like you're saying, is that means you have to carry a lot of inventory in your stock. So what based on your experience, and what makes a specific product more attractive as a promotional product? Because like you're saying, this bottom mustache was a product that you knew that the beer manufacturers would be interested in. Why wouldn't they be interested in? Why wouldn't you be able to, sell a product like the beard hat as a promotional product as well?
Yeah, well, we have done that actually. They've gone in beer cases, as a promotional product, and like I was saying, the sporting events, in the team colors, that's always been really popular. But for the bottle mustaches, they're small, they're lightweight, they're silicone, easily brandable, and the turnaround time on them is very quick. Yeah, so we knew those would be very popular. We can do any color as well, and make different mustache shapes, and with some of the different Mexican beers, they're pretty popular. Obviously, they fit right into to their whole brand. So we just knew that they do well. We liked it, a bit of fun. So
did you create the product with the goal of making a promotional product, or was it just something that a product that already existed and you realized that it would make sense to push it as a product for promotional reasons?
Yeah, no, that one's our design as well. We have other ones for wine glasses and stuff too, but they're not as popular. Obviously, we stick with the beers. Sorry, what was the question?
I was asking, did you purposefully create this product to sell as a promotional branded product, or was it something that already existed and you realized that it could be sold as well as a promotionally branded product?
Oh yeah, sorry. So that one we came up with that one, and we just knew that it would be great promotional product just because it is small, it's pretty cheap in terms of promotional products and easily brandable. So right away we just pushed that ones out to the beer companies, and that's pretty much where it started. And then with Movember too, we figured that would be a really good sponsorship product for kind of fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so if someone out there wants to explore selling their product as a promotional product, what's the first step? How do you begin this exploration process to become discoverable as a product that could be used for promotional branding, and finding these companies that would potentially be interested in purchasing your products?
Yeah, so there's different databases. So there's the main one that we stick with is called ASI, and it's the Advertising Specialty Institute. And basically, you can just put your product up on there, and distributors look at those. You can send out emails to their clientele, and we just figured we'll put it on there, have a go, and see how it works out. And response has been great. So we just we could keep it up there and go to some of their trade shows as well.
Mm-hmm. And what's it like working with these I guess brands? What's the process like? Because like you're saying, it could be a nightmare sometimes where they want such a large order in such a short period of time. But in I guess a more typical case where you're able to handle, where I guess is more reasonable. What is it like?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, most of the big brands, you don't work with them direct. They all pretty much use distributors. They have a distributor or they might put a message out. Look, we're looking for some promotional products for, I don't know, Christmas, for example. And then all their distributors that they've worked with in the past will start looking for unique products for them. And then whoever comes back with the best idea pretty much gets the contract with them. And so we work with the distributor direct, and they tell us what they want, what color, what logo. We make them some proofs, send it through, and once they get the go ahead, we get the purchase order and send direct to their client. It's pretty good. It's pretty quick process usually. The only thing, like I said before, is sometimes the turnaround doesn't work. Like they want it immediately. The brand would wait till the last minute to start looking, and then there's just simply not enough time, to do it. So that used to kind of get to us. It'd be that huge order is gone. We definitely can't do that. But now we've I don't know. I guess personally, I've taken a different look at it. Like, I'd rather just do a high quality order and not rush it. Have enough time than rush it and have mistakes or something like that. So I'm a lot more relaxed now than I used to be. I used to be just go. Let's get these out the door, and but that leads to a pretty stressful life. So.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to say yes to everything, because like you're saying, you're just bringing on more stress for yourself when it's not a situation that plays to your strengths. So what makes you more likely to win these contracts? Is it just like a numbers thing for these distributors, or like how do you position yourself in a way that makes you more likely to win a contract when these companies, these brands are looking for promotional products?
Yeah, well, for us, it's not, we're not trying to get the contracts. It's the distributors trying to get the contracts with the brands they work with. For us, it's pretty easy because we've got these, patented products, design registered products as well. And so we're one of a kind. So we put our product out there, the distributor shows it to their client, and the client either says yes or no, either they want beards and mustaches, or they want, something like, something completely different, like a bottle opener or a whistle or whatever it is. So yeah, there's no pressure on us to get the contract. We just show them what we got. We work with them to make a really nice virtual design for them, and that they can show their client, and just sit back and wait for a purchase order, or we don't get it. So.
I see. So you have your product listed up on a database like ASI. The distributor is going through this database, looking, essentially shopping for products to then pitch to these brands. Is that the process?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I never heard of the approach this way, or not this approach, but I never heard of it laid out this way. I think this is a great avenue for a lot of products, or at least trying to put it out on these databases like ASI and see where it leads you. So you mentioned that another focus for you guys, which I think is very timely, is more on giftable products. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like how is a giftable product a little bit different than the products that you were selling previously?
Yeah, well, what I realized was there's always kind of two kinds of people coming to our website. There were skiers and snowboarders, which was always our main focus. This is a ski and snowboard product. This is for the winter. This beard hat is just for the winter. But what I, quickly realized is a lot of people are just buying this for a gift, and not necessarily for skiing or snowboard, but just because it's got a beard on it, and that's really where I learned that market, the giftables market, is a lot bigger than just the ski and snowboard market, especially around Christmas. Everybody's sales goes up. So I want to focus on things that still have the same novelty as the beard hat, and maybe even still be used for skiing and snowboarding, but maybe open it up to a lot more people. So that's where we started making the ski mask. We did a Kickstarter for our ski mask design, and we obviously people really loved them. And we've done a new range this year. So we've got little ears on them and these animal ski masks, and they're just, everyone's loving them. But you don't have to be a skier or snowboarder. You can, if you like cats, we have a few cat ones. So people could buy them for their friends who like cats, for example. And we're finding a lot of that. It's not about just functional usage of them. It's the novelty of it and then giftable.
I see. So when you're designing a product to make it more giftable, you're looking to create products that are, I guess, a little more generalized, or just more. Is it more products that you're carrying now, or is it? I guess when you sit down and say, okay, let's create a product for this holiday shopping season, and we want to make it so that it's giftable. What attributes are you changing, or are you looking to adjust to make it a more giftable product rather than a product that was targeted at your, I guess, original customer base of skiers?
This big chalkboard, and it's been sitting in my office. Basically, it's something I've worked on for over a few years, and just at the top it just says product success rules, and I've just got a few tick boxes, and this is what I look at when I try to come up with a new product. So first one, small and easily shipped, or digital. If you can, I mean, this is a list. If you can tick every one of these boxes, you're going to do pretty well. It's got a markup of 7 to 12 times, ideally. Trendy and unique, and people want to share it. So that's that novelty factor. Little or no competition, which basically allows you to create and control a market. It's not so personal that people will want to try before they buy, or not a gift item, or not to gift it. For example, like sunglasses, sunglasses are a little personal. People want to try them on, so that may not be a perfect market. And then it's the same as the next one. Next point is it must be a giftable item, which is something in the around $50 price range and under. I think is would kind of qualify for a giftable. There must be no expiry date, or at least a short lead time, and small minimum order sizes. So you don't want to have 10,000 items in your warehouse that are going to expire. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is just more general, but it's a new or revision of old design brought back to life, reinvented for the digital age. So what I like to do, just to get some, and this is really what I love doing. I love to create, and I love to design, and I love looking at old designs. And so when I look at this, I like to go online and just look through, whether it be Pinterest, or I like to look through old products from like the 60s and the 70s and see how they packaged them. And I like to bring that old style to the new age, if possible, because everything kind of goes in a cycle. If you've noticed, everything seems to come back. Beards are back. They're gone for a long time. So if you can look back in the past and kind of reinvent something, or even just repackage it, I think you have a good chance of success for that as well.
I love this list that you have. It's very logical, and it's like you're saying, you just go through product ideas and tick them off and see how likely they are for success. I've heard variations of something like this, at least pieces of your list from other successful product creators as well. So there's definitely a lot of merit to it. So I want to kind of pick this apart a little bit and talk about each piece of it. So when you say the product has to be a new or revision of product brought back, I guess, for the digital age. Can you say a little bit more about that? Like how, or I mean, I guess you don't want to give away any products that you're thinking of, but I guess how do you approach it? How do you determine if something could be brought back for the digital age?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about this, and I've got a folder on my computer with just all kinds of old ideas that, you see these old magazines from, like I say, like the 70s, and you look at the old ads on them, and the way that they used to advertise like cigarettes on the back of some of these magazines are just so ridiculous. But I don't know, there's just something about them that, obviously you're not going to advertise cigarettes today, but just the way that they used to do the marketing was so interesting, and some of these products that they used to come up with that don't exist anymore, they're so ridiculous too. But if you launched some of these older products today, especially on a site like Kickstarter, for example, they would absolutely explode just because they're so ridiculous. And a product doesn't necessarily have to have a function. It can just be a stupid giftable item, and that's another thing I've learned. It doesn't have to solve any world problems. It can just be a stupid item as long as it's under that $50 kind of range. People would buy it for a gift, and you're just a stupid gift that and yeah. So I just like to look. This list is not. You don't have to tick every single one of these, but when I design something, I look at this, and it helps me find faults with the product. I've had a few failed products, before, and so this kind of just keeps me real.
Yeah, I like that there's like I guess a filter that you send everything through, because you don't want to just look at a product or think about products and go off a gut feeling alone. You want to actually have something that you can test it against. So you mentioned as well that you can reinvent a product or just repackage it. Can you say a little bit more about what's the difference in your eyes between a reinvention versus repackaging a previous product?
Well, so I've said new or revision of old design, on this chart, and I guess basically why that's there is if you can create a new design, you're controlling the market. If you can create a new product, it has no competition, and it probably won't for a little while, until people start to realize it's a good idea and start copying you. Or you can revise an old design that and I'm not talking about ripping somebody off or just changing a little bit. I'm talking about mostly old items, like a really old item from, say, 100 years ago. I haven't really invented anything like that, but I always think about, the toilet, for example. And this is getting a bit off topic, but you look at the toilet, it hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. And I always like to think about, if someone's going to reinvent that, how would they do it? And I always think about stuff like that. So, if you can come up with a revision on something old and make it new again, like bell-bottom jeans, for example, or something like that in fashion, or whether it be a giftable product, I think you have a good success rate there if it's novelty enough that people would like it.
Yeah, I think I've heard from previous inventors too on this podcast where they like to go with repackaging and reinventing as this thing product because there's less explanation involved in it, right? Because people already have a place of it in their minds, or maybe not distinctly, but at least they've seen it, or because it's been in the market before, it's been in the world before, they've been able to tie your product back to an understanding they've had before of a previous similar product. And I think that helps you a lot when you're trying to sell a product, getting over the education aspect of it. Now, when you say, what about like repackaging though? Like how can you repackage, I guess, an old product? What is an example of that?
I mean, you look at Apple. When you buy an Apple computer, you get your package, and something about their packaging, and it's been talked about a lot before. I'm sure you've talked about it. The product, even the packaging, is special. You get this nice white box. You open it up, it comes apart really smoothly. It feels really nice. You start to unpackage this whole thing, and it makes you feel special that you're opening this brand new product. And I think just the packaging alone can make your customers feel like they're getting something really special. I unpackaged my DJI Mavic. I got the drone the other day, and that's the same thing. I was just taking this thing apart so carefully, and so I think not only do you have to think about the product, but the packaging also has a lot to do with that, to make people feel special. And I think putting in the little details, in our face masks, for example, on the material tag, we've got this material label sticker that we put inside that tells you how to wash it and how to treat it. And we've put little special comments in there, just little things that, if you don't read the fine print, you never see it. But if somebody does read the fine print, they're going to get a little joke, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's important too. You don't want to always just focus on the functional side of products, functional side of your business. There are sometimes the way to delight your customers, make them happy to buy from you, are much more, I guess, like less functional, right? There are just things that are delightful that aren't actually serving a purpose other than to make them feel special, which, is a great purpose in of itself. So now that there is a more focus for you guys on giftables, can you talk to us a little bit about your plans for the holiday shopping season, specifically what you're doing in preparation for Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming soon?
Yeah, so we're ramping up for that. So I think what we're going to do is a discount code, and we've done a lot of different stuff in the past. A lot of complicated stuff. Where we duplicate products and have a sale collection with that product in it. It got really confusing just for the amount of products that we have. So we're going to keep it nice and simple just for us. I'm going to give a big discount to all of our fans. We'll announce that online, and we'll run some ads for that. We've also ramping up our retargeting. The retarget marketing this time of year is really beneficial for us. So we're trying to reach as many new customers as possible towards the holiday season, so that the retargeting can also kick in and do a bit of overtime work there. So that's pretty much what we've got planned. Luckily, we're with Shopify, so we know it's gonna, the site's gonna hold up. We've tested it pretty much, as much as we can with some of the spikes we've had. We've had spikes of 50,000 or more people on the website in just a few hours. So we're pretty happy with that. So, before we were with Shopify, we had some issues with servers, and when I went on Dragon's Den, the investment show Dragon's Den, working with Good Morning America, we were really tested. So now, we feel confident in the servers, and we can focus on just getting out there and selling.
Yeah, makes sense. So for that short window, though, for let's say Black Friday and Cyber Monday, or do you have any different, strategies for marketing and promoting the? I guess you're selling. You say you're selling sales collections.
Yeah. So we did do a sales collection last year. We're not going to do that this year, just because it gets too difficult to manage with all the products. So we're going to do a one discount code site wide. And we're going to put that out to as many people as possible. And ramping up to that, we've got a bit of an email. We've got a few emails going out that are going to, entice people to purchase 4 giftables. Talking about Secret Santas and different things like that. So it would put it in their head that things are, Christmas is coming, and people usually wait till the last minute. So we try to start early and really get on people about that. So
I see. So I think one of the big benefits of this more giftable focused strategy, especially around the holiday shopping season, is that you don't have to get someone that bought for themselves to buy for themselves again. You can find new ways to sell to them, like getting them to buy for others. And I think that's a great way to not only essentially get more lifetime value out of an existing customer, but then introduce new customers that are getting these gifts to your brand and hopefully grow your market that way. I think that's a great approach. Cool. So thanks so much again for your time. Where do you want to see the brand, the business go in the next year?
In the next year, we're going to stick with the ski masks. We're going to work on some new designs for that. And we're always inventing. Like I said, I've got a huge folder on my computer of just I've probably got 100 things in there, but not all of them are going to work, and not of them they might not work today, but I've got them, and a few years down the road we might release some of those. So I just like to keep that folder, and you never know what's going to come. So it's nice to have that and look back and I personally I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy coming up with new products and visualizing how I would market them and stuff like that. So it's nice when you like it. It's nice when it doesn't drain you mentally. When you enjoy something, it's not a problem. It's not a job. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a ton of fun. So again, thanks so much for your time, Jeff. Beardo.com is a website, beardo.com. Anyone else you recommend our listeners go and check out if they want to follow along with what you're up to?
Yeah, they can check us out on Instagram. It's just Beardo Aware. It's BeardoWear. Facebook as well. We'll be giving away lots of stuff in the next few weeks. And have a bit of fun with it.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks again for your time, Jeff.
Thanks, Felix.
Thanks for listening to Shopify Masters, the e-commerce marketing podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs. To start your store today, visit shopify.com/masters to claim your extended 30-day free trial.